Project Success 101 training. In this video, I'm going to talk about the basic training. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like the basic training that it will take for you to become a master builder that will support all of the other individual components and efforts that you might have with your lean implementation. So do you want to know start to finish how you can go through your training effort? Do you also want to know what the key steps are, what the phases are, and what roadblocks you'll hit? If so, you've come to the right place. This is what we're going to discuss right now. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started. I love training. If you're going to have a system where foremen and workers can complete their work in a work package, and they have the team, they have the plan, they have the supply chain and the environment, then everybody else needs to have the training as well. And you don't have to follow the overall system, but you definitely should look at it from the framework of the system. Meaning you can, like for foremen, you can just do foreman training. For assistant supers, you can do scheduling training. You can piece this out, but I'm going to give you the whole framework right now. So without further ado, let's roll because we're going to have some fun. So number one, I would like to break this up into 4 different stages, if you will. So stage 1 is entry. This is what I call the entry phase. This is when you come into construction. There's obviously training. They will onboard you. You're probably a field engineer or an office or a project engineer, and you're basically getting these basic skills. The second one, stage 2, I call proficiency, meaning you know the terms in construction, you know the acronyms, you know generally how things go. You're proficient. You know RFIs, you know submittals, you know pay applications, you know basics of scheduling, things like that. But this is basically where you know a thing or two. Stage 3, this is the wanting more stage. This is when you wake up and you say to yourself, oh my gosh, is this everything construction has to offer? We're doing the same thing every day. The elevator details are the same as they were in the last project. I'm dealing with the same garbage everywhere I go. Is this really all there is? And do I even want this anymore? Right? Most people hit this phase in their career, and it's pretty tragic. And then you go into stage 4 where you really jam out and you start leading change. And this is where you've had that inspiration. You are implementing lean, you're doing operational excellence. You've gone from stage 1 of pushing people, stage 2 of administration, into era 1, era 2, into era 3 of productivity and profits, where you're really doing things right, like it says in the book Built to Fail. So these are the 4 different stages, and I'm going to explain the different types of training that you deserve, let me just put it like that, in each of these different stages, so that you can show up on the project site in the production system, in the integrated production control system. So number 1, and you probably think this is like a sales tactic, it's not. I do care, but I kind of don't care if you do this on your own, or you make your own training, or you get it done, you figure it out yourself, or you come do it with us. We do provide these trainings not to make money, but because it's needed. So I just want you to know this isn't a sales tactic. The first one here is the FEPE Bootcamp. This right here is like the granddaddy of all granddaddies, grandma of all grandmas, like amazing, most epic training in the entire world. This is like Tony Robbins meets advanced leadership training meets going out in the woods and doing some kind of high adventure. Like it's absolutely crucial. In this training, hopefully you're doing some field and project engineering on your job site from an implementation standpoint, but this camp is crucial to breaking you out of your habits, getting you into a mode of learning, expecting more, knowing how to respect the craft, and being able to figure anything out. It's absolutely crucial. Everyone deserves this at the entry level stages. After that, and again, I don't care if your company provides this or you do this with us, I call this the fundamental, so I'll just do fundamental builder, and I'm going to call it a boot camp, but this can be a training. And what I mean by this is if you have gotten the experience of how to build, you need the fundamentals of survey, quality, safety, how to read drawings, scheduling 101, quality systems, procurement systems, like all of the basics to really orient somebody in the right way. And I'll tell you why. When we're in this proficiency phase, if you've learned the wrong thing, may God have mercy on your soul. It is tragic when you learn the wrong things. And so if you've gotten this really great kickstart, you really need a time in here where you can learn how to do things the absolute right way. You know, like when I think about from a fundamental builder standpoint, like I think about, like let's just take one example, okay? A lot of people will say, okay, I'm proficient at being a superintendent. And they don't do their schedules, they don't create it, they're not involved with it. The PM or the PE does it and they're hands off. That is the wrong way. It's not done. You don't do that. That's not a thing. But they learn somewhere in their company, and I've seen this over and over, where they think that's right. Wrong. That's why we've got to have basic project management, construction supervision 101 training early here before your habits are somewhat locked in. All right, so now we get into the proficiency stage. Now, this right here is where you're going to be doing a lot of the transitioning from being an assistant to like the main role. And I think that really needs to be your focus in here. Like this needs to be growing on the job, and I would say plus a mentor, okay? From a training standpoint, I would say that somewhere in here, you need another boot camp, which is called the Super PM Bootcamp. Now, this right here is something that I've only seen with us at Elevate. This is a like freaking amazing training. You can have this like at the beginning, at the middle, or at the end of your wanting more phase. Don't go too far in here or you'll get demoralized and learn hopelessness. But once you're fairly proficient and hopefully you have this background, you come to the Super PM Bootcamp to really lock in amazing project planning techniques and amazing lean construction management techniques, construction leadership techniques, really. How to run a lean project. This includes the TAC production, the first planner system, TAC production system, and last planner all together. And this creates like a spark. This is where people are like, oh my gosh, there's so much more. All right, now check this out. Then you're going to have a period of implementation where, and I want you to know, you do not have to do this well right out of the gate. You can totally fail in this stage, meaning like, you know, the first pull plan you do doesn't have to go right. Your first TAC plan doesn't have to go right. Your first project doesn't have to go right. But you're going to start implementing right away, and you're going to get that kind of under your belt. Now, once that happens, you either need a project or a training that is called, it's what I call the Capstone. What this means is that you can prove and demonstrate that you know these concepts by way of implementation, okay? And that means that you're ready to go. Then, in your career, you're ready to lead massive change within your efforts inside of your company. And the reason so we've experimented with this pattern, we've adjusted it, we've been working on this for 15 years, something like that. Yeah, it's dead serious. So this is the pattern. Set your career up for success right out of the gate, okay? Make sure that you have the fundamentals, grow with a mentor, get that spark and snap out of the mediocrity of the industry, not you, right, or your company. Go implement and then demonstrate you have the skills and you are ready to go do amazing things in your company and on your projects. And so this is the pattern, but what I want to do is outline just a little bit by way of what resources are available. So you can come from the survey ranks, you can come from the craft ranks, or you can come from college, right? Wherever you want. We've got a couple of references here for you. If you're coming from the survey world, we have a book called Elevating Construction Surveyors specifically for this book, or for this position, sorry. If you're coming from the craft, we have a book called Elevating Construction Foreman, which is key, right? And if you're coming from college, the book that I would recommend here until we have one for you, eventually we'll have one called Elevating Construction Field Engineers. But in the meantime, the book is called The Field Engineering Methods Manual, or otherwise known as Construction Surveying and Layout by Wes Crawford. Read the first 8 chapters for this. Okay, so these books are going to set you up here, and that Field Engineering Methods Manual is going to set you up really, really nicely right here. Okay, now let's go into this here. The fundamental builder phase, like in here, what you'll want from a reference standpoint as a super or a PM is a book called Elevating Construction Superintendents. This will really tell you how to win and get the fundamentals here. Eventually, and I'll leave this as an open circle, we will have and actually I'll do a circle over here. We will have a book for project engineers, hopefully by this year, and we'll have a book over here specifically broken out just for PMs, just so you don't have to be misled by the title. But that's the book and the reference that you really want to hit right here. There's another book that I want put up on the YouTube video that's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. So this is going to be from a professional development standpoint right here. Okay, now we've written the book Elevating Construction Senior Superintendents once you get into this range, and by August, probably by the time this video comes out, we will also have another book called Elevating Construction First Planners that goes here, and you'll also want the book called Tact Planning that talks about how to create the tact production system and the overall management from a flow standpoint. And then by January 1, 2025, we'll have a book called Tact Steering and Control. So these are the references that you want here. And then what you'll do is you'll implement those books as we go. When you get somewhere around here, I want to give you 2 or 3 more and I'll be done. Number 1, I want you to read Built to Fail. Number 2, How Big Things Get Done. Absolutely fantastic book. And the other one that I want you to read, please, over here is called The Goal by Elihu Goldratt. I call him Eli Goldratt. But anyway, these are the books and the training. This is the training path. I have, and I'll link in the description below, this map for you on what we call the Superintendent Growth Board with all of the references and a number of book references. But this is really how you develop your career. If you go through all this successfully, there is 0 chance you're not going to kill it and make a ton of money. So by the end of this year, all of this will be available in outlines. In fact, we're updating our website. But the website is being updated because this is the pattern. It wasn't, hey, we want to sell something, so we'll make this pattern. Meaning you must get entry-level training, you must get to a point of proficiency with a mentor, you must get to a point where you're able to break out of the mediocrity of the industry and really go implement lean techniques. And so this will all be placed on a Canva graphic for you. We will link you to the website that shows it, and we will also give you links for all of these books in the Canva graphic, which will be quite remarkable for you. So all of that's there. And if you've enjoyed this, please give me a comment. If you've got any questions, if you want any resources, we'll respond to you directly. At the end of the day, you deserve training. The world will pay you in direct proportion and response to the training you get. It is time to invest in yourself. On we go.